Hello, love. Cassie here, lead goddess at Zend Out. And this week I'm sharing all about seeing and experiencing auras. Because when it comes to auras, seeing is maybe not believing. There are a lot of different ways to experience and interact with auras. Seeing auras is definitely exciting and something to strive towards, but there are a lot of other ways that can be just as powerful to experience auras beyond seeing them. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of the blog post that I recently shared where I have 3 different techniques to experience auras. I'm going to share 2 of them with you here. If you want to dive deeper and read even more on the blog post, you can head over to zendout.com/blog. You can also find that from clicking the link in our bio. Okay? So, like I said, seeing isn't always believing when it comes to auras. Of course, if you do see them, you're going to believe them right away, but there are other techniques that are just as powerful. So my introduction to auras and my own energy was through feeling my auric field and my energy. So I want to share what I did when I was a young girl. I was a teenager and experimenting and learning new things about spirituality and my energy field and my aura. And what I learned, and it was from a book by a woman named Rosemary Altea. I haven't kept up to see if she's still writing, but I know it probably isn't a unique system to her, but that's where I learned it from. But it's this technique to awaken and energize the chakras in your hands to feel your energy. So this might be something you've seen or done before. If it's new to you, I think you're really going to enjoy it because it's really easy. And this is one of the best things about working with and seeing auras and energy is that it doesn't take anything. You don't need anything. You just need yourself, some patience, some quiet time. So this first exercise I want to share with you, feeling the energy in your hands and then ultimately doing hand scans. It works really well if you're clairsentient. So I shared a post about this a few posts back about the different clairs. I also have a great blog post on our blog, so you can just search clairs in the search bar to learn even more and find out what clair gifts you have. But even if you're not clairsentient, I still encourage you to try this technique. So before you do anything that has to do with feeling your energy, working with your aura, I highly suggest taking a few moments to just kind of center yourself, whether that's focusing on your breath for a little bit, meditating, doing some organic movement, just something to kind of root and center yourself in the present moment. That's just going to help you kind of tune into your physical body and your energy body, which is going to help in this process, okay? So to begin, all you need to do is start rubbing your hands together. This is going to start to kind of wake up those energy centers or chakras in your hands. So you have the 7 chakras that align up the spine, but you actually have chakras, secondary chakras all over your body. So these chakras in your hands are just one, 2 more of many others. That's a blog post or a video for another day. So you really only need to rub your hands together for like 20 to 30 seconds. I just kind of overdid it here so I could share some more things with you. So once you've done and you've rubbed your hands together for about 20 to 30 seconds, you're going to just slowly start to bring them apart, push them together. Now you might start to feel a sensation almost like there's a ball in between your hands. You might start to feel that immediately. If not, just stay with it for a little while. You might also start to feel some tingling in between your hands. Everybody experiences energy differently. But if you're clairsentient like I am, you're most definitely going to feel something in between your hands. It almost feels like there's an invisible force kind of pushing your hands apart. And it is. So this is step 1 of kind of confirming or feeling the energy of your aura, the energy radiating out from your chakras, because the aura system, the chakras, they're all connected. It's a subtle body. So that's why, the chakras are emitting this information that is your aura. So if you are feeling the energy, then I'm going to share a next step with you. If you're not, don't worry about it. Don't stress. It just means you probably experience energy in a different way, which is really common. People experience energy in all different ways. So of course, if you really want to feel that energy, take a break from it. Try it again tomorrow. And if you continue to not feel anything, like I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to share some other techniques with you, and I share even more on the blog for experiencing the energy of auras. So if one doesn't work for you, that's okay. It doesn't mean that auras aren't real. It doesn't mean that you can't experience them. It just means you need to try a different way. So if you have tried this hand technique and you really feel that energy in between your hands, I encourage you to play with it. And this is something I do in my meditation practice almost daily. So you can use your hands, and you'll probably, if you've already felt that energy kind of awaken in the centers of your hands, you're probably going to feel some of those same energies around your body, around your aura. So I want you to just practice kind of slowly moving your hands over your body and just noticing what you feel. One way that you can do this that's really powerful is running your hands over your chakras. So I learned pretty young when I was working with my energy that I could kind of tell which chakras were healthy or deficient because I could feel the energy kind of pushing my hands out in certain areas where I knew maybe I had an overactive chakra, or if I couldn't feel that energy pushing out, maybe it was underactive. There was one point even where I had a back injury and my hands just tensed up when I went over that spot of my body. So that's another thing you might notice is physical injuries, physical ailments that you could maybe notice with your hands. So that's for my clairsentience. Which is clear feeling, even if you're not clairsentient, I encourage you to try it because you might find that you have a little bit of that gift. And of course, all of these are learnable and teachable, so you can pick these things up, these skills up over time. So stick with it, even if you're not feeling anything. And if you are, pretty cool, huh? So that, like I said, that was my introduction to feeling my aura and feeling my energy. And it was really powerful. It was one of the things that really sparked my spiritual journey because I could feel my energy. I knew something was there, even though it was something that I wasn't taught about growing up. Just that simple act of, working with my hands and being open to it really shifted my reality about what we are and that we're energy beings. Okay, so the second technique I'm going to teach you is one that I know everybody's really excited about because there are techniques to learn how to see auras. So I've been practicing seeing auras, again, since I was at a very young age. I think I've shared this in books or posts or videos before, but I used to beg my younger sister to model for me so that I could practice seeing her aura. So even after years and years and years and years, yes, I can see auras, but honestly, I prefer to use my hands or my intuition because seeing auras, for me, somebody that doesn't have a natural clairvoyancy gift, it's very challenging and draining. So it's fun to try, and I still continue to practice all the time on myself and other people. It's certainly, like I said, it's really exciting, and I never get tired of practicing it. But when I'm doing intuitive work or energy work for myself or others, I do tend to rely on my sense of feeling and my intuition when it comes to sensing and working with energy in the aura. So a few tips, and I share way more in my new book, Understanding Auras. I share a lot more about learning different techniques to see auras, but I'm going to share just a few with you here so you can start practicing. So first tip, if you can, and I know in this era of a pandemic, it can be challenging, but if you have a roommate, a friend, somebody that is safe and comfortable to be around, that you can find a practice with you to see auras, that is going to be really helpful. You can practice on yourself. That I've certainly spent a lot of time doing that, but it's really helpful if you have a willing participant to help practice seeing auras. So you're going to need possibly a willing participant if you can wrangle somebody, maybe somebody that's also interested so you can reciprocate and practice on each other. You will need a neutral and not very busy wall. So I'm going to teach you one roundabout way around this if you don't have a blank wall. It doesn't have to be a white wall. It can just be, light gray, white, brown, dark gray. You just want it to be kind of neutral and pretty bare. This is just going to make it a lot easier to know that you're seeing part of the aura, okay? And then really just need time and patience, okay? So one of the most important things I want to teach you about seeing auras is to practice in short stints. I cannot tell you how many headaches I've given myself, especially when I was younger, because I was so stubborn and wanted to see things right away. So when you're first starting out, practice for 5, maybe 10 minutes tops, and then stop and take a break. You're basically training your eyes to do something that you've, over time, learned how to not do. So you're using your eyes in a really unusual and different way. And your eyes are going to get tired, and that could translate to a headache. So just be mindful of that. Be nice to yourself. And like I said, if you're not seeing anything right away, that's okay. Just take a break. Try again the next day. Okay? So when you're practicing with yourself or with somebody else, so if you want to practice on yourself, you're going to hold your hand out. Another technique that I like to use sometimes because it can get tiresome holding your hand out like this for 5 to 10 minutes. And like I said, if you don't have a plain background, sometimes I will actually lay on my back and just put my legs up in the air. And usually ceilings are pretty clutter-free and neutrally colored. So put your feet up in the air and you can practice seeing the aura around your feet and your legs instead. And then you also get to lay down. So that is another nice little workaround if you are working on yourself and you don't want to hold your hand out, or you don't have a neutral blank colored wall to practice on. Just lay back, pop your feet up in the air. Or if you have a person that you're working with, you're going to put them about 3 to 5 feet in front of you, not directly against the wall, out a little bit from the wall. And then when you're ready to practice, you're going to be kind of looking at the outside of the body, not directly at the body. This is just going to make it easier. So a lot of times when I practice on people, I tend to focus on this area right here. When I'm working on my hands, I tend to focus on right here, just because there's a lot of surface area, like negative space here, where I can kind of focus my gaze. Same with the feet, kind of in between the feet is a good place to focus. And you're going to really soften your eyes. And I know it's really hard to kind of explain what to do with your eyes because it's such a foreign and different thing. So if you were born in the 80s or 90s, not trying to show my age too much here, and you remember those magic eye pictures where you had to kind of shift your gaze a little bit and then an image would appear, it's very similar to this. So it's not like I'm not going to be looking straight at a point if I'm gazing at this kind of area in between. I'm almost like looking through that area. So soft gaze, not looking directly at a point, just kind of looking through a point. I know this sounds very bizarre, but I just encourage you to try it and be open to kind of shifting your gaze and working with your eyes in different ways. And remember to just soften. If you really feel like you're focusing a lot or focusing very hard, then you definitely need to take a step back and kind of breathe and remember to relax your eyes and look through with your gaze. So that's kind of the gist of it, the basics of it, but play around with it, because like I said, it's really hard to articulate and verbalize the ways that you have to kind of adjust your eyes. But those are some of the best ways I've found to kind of explain it. So when you're looking at the aura is actually comprised of 7 layers, one for each chakra, because like I said, the chakras emit the aura, they're connected. So the layer that's closest to the body is called the etheric layer. And this layer is the easiest to see because it is the most dense. It's a layer that connects to the root chakra, which has to do with physicality. So it is usually about 1 inch to 2 inches away from the body, or thick. And it will vary in color from white to light gray to light blue. And this is the easiest layer to see. This is usually the first thing that people see. And after my years of practice, it's really easy for me to see the etheric layer of the aura. I can just, after a couple minutes now, I can see that glow around people or plants or animals. So that's kind of what you're looking for. I think a lot of us, we have this idea of auras being, these rainbow bright colors, and they are, but for people that are just beginning to learn how to see them, it's unlikely that you're going to see all of those colors right away. So just to kind of put it in perspective for you. Now, that said, if you have the gift of clairvoyance, you might be seeing all kinds of bright colors right away, okay? Beyond the etheric layer, we start to get into the emotional layer, which is connected to the sacral chakra. Of course, sacral chakra, emotions. That is a layer that has a lot of changing colors because it deals with our emotions, and our emotions are always changing. So if you do begin to see some color, and for me, the colors are harder for me to see because I'm not naturally a clairvoyant. I don't have that gift of clear seeing. Mine's more intuitive and feeling. But I usually just see kind of like blips, some spots of color that come up around people. Or I begin to not so much see, but I have that intuition, that gift of the clairvoyance, but in a different way of seeing it in my mind's eye, or the claircognizance, where I'll just kind of begin to sense what the color is. So I may not see it, but I'm like, oh, I know that that person's aura color is yellow because I can see it in my mind's eye and I can sense it. And then maybe I'll start to see little pops of it come out. This is going to be totally different to each person. So like I said, be open, but like if you are just seeing this white etheric layer and little pops of color every once in a while, that's totally normal. That's totally common, okay? It's also totally common to not be able to see anything at all. Like I said, I've been practicing this for years. Since I was like 12 or 13 years old, I have been practicing seeing auras, working with my energy. So don't expect it to happen overnight. Maybe it will, and that's exciting and awesome if it does, but don't be discouraged if it doesn't happen right away, okay? So I hope that this has given you some tools to kind of excite you. Like I said, this is such a fun tool to work with, especially during a pandemic. If you're at home and you've got a little extra time, or you don't have anybody to work with, you can do this all on yourself, and you don't need anything. You just need some quiet time, okay? So of course, if you have questions, drop them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer. I'm sure some of you have had your own experiences in seeing and feeling and working with auras. I'd love to hear about them. And if you have any tips to offer any of my other followers, feel free to share them in the comments. If you want to read more, hop on over to the blog, like I said, at zendoubt.com/blog, where you can also get to it from the link in our bio. If you want to start learning more about auras now, like what your aura color is, how to determine it and what it means, there is a lot about this on our blog and in the Goddess Discovery Book Volume 1. So this book isn't out yet, so if you can't wait, you can grab that Goddess Discovery Book Volume 1 and dive a little bit deeper into understanding what auras are. And then, of course, if you want to pre-order the auras book, this is going to be kind of everything that you would need to know to start understanding working with the energy of your aura, okay? And this book does come with a bunch of free printables right now, so you'll get an aura cleansing meditation from me and some aura cards with suggestions for aura maintenance, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video, my dear, and see you again soon. Bye.